Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. This is Otaku's Showboat. Today is Tuesday, August 4th, 2020. If you're watching the VODs on YouTube, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and if you are so inclined, head on over to twitch.tv/Otaku Showboat to leave a follow to be notified when I go live Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to approximately 1 p.m. US Eastern Time. You can do all of the social stuff through the links below the video, including supporting Pyandon's mods development at patreon.com/Pyandon, and myself at patreon.com/Otaku Showboat. Hello and welcome, everyone live. I have survived the hurricane/tropical storm that went through Isaias. Oh boy, that happened overnight and into the early morning hours. Was woken up twice by tornado warnings in the area. Twice. Like once was around 1 something in the morning until about 2 in the morning, and then the other one was in the 4 o'clock hour, in which didn't get back into bed until like the 5 o'clock hour after that. So yeah, not a lot of sleep last night. Basically, everyone during these warnings, we just got out of bed, went down to our den level, got the TV on to local station to see the coverage until the tornado warnings passed through the area before going back up. Of course, we also had to grab the kittens, which, yeah, that's a mission every time to try to get the kittens to come down into a different section of the house than they're currently at, especially when there's no doors to get into the bottom section of the house or out of the bottom section of the house. So that was interesting. Uh, Lots of debris outside. There's still a fair amount of wind. We did not lose power completely, obviously. Hello, welcome. Just updating on the status now that the big Cat 1 hurricane/tropical storm passed through the area overnight last night. It's a mess outside. It is very messy. We have lots of pine trees on our particular lot, and we're like surrounded by a whole bunch of trees. This area is called Forest Park. It's actually called Forest in the name of this neighborhood, so lots of trees, uh, which helps to break the wind a bit, but also it leaves a lot of trash after these big storms go through, and we did have a few larger branches that did fall in our backyard. In like the very back corner of the yard were some larger branches. Otherwise, we just got like sprigs of branches, tips of branches that had fallen all over the front and the back. It's a little messy. I don't want to look and see what the roof is like. It does not seem as if there are any shingles that were strewn about, so there's at least that. It did get very windy. In fact, it's still a bit windy right now. But as I said, power did hold. We got flickers like twice, but not even enough to shut down my computer. So there's at least that. The storm passed through to the west of where I'm at. Just a bit to the west. We got rather lucky that this particular spot wasn't as impacted as other parts of the area. There was a tornado that came through in areas of North Carolina to the south, that at this point in time, there's already one confirmed fatality because it literally ripped through a trailer park. Like, it literally ripped through a road that was lined with trailers, and apparently 2 trailers survived of the line of trailers. So lots and lots and lots of damage, and apparently one death so far. We'll see how many more there end up being, but we got off lucky this time. This particular time. Now, this storm went by rather fast. This is not a typical storm. I mean, no storm is typical, but this one in particular came through really fast. Really fast. So it's not much rain accumulation, it's all wind. It's all wind damage. Not so much the water from rain. There was a bit of storm surge of tides for low-lying areas. There was a few flash flood warnings that went up in the general vicinity, not near me, but otherwise, yeah, this was very much a wind storm. Very much a wind storm. So glad that we made it through that, and yeah, everything is fine here for the moment. So let's get into Factorio now. So I expanded a little bit of the rails. I did a little bit of this stuff off screen. You can see I now have grass. I now have grass on the floor rather than the really dark landfill. So hey, we're green. We're green now on our grass. Because I've decided to add a little thingy here, making far more sufficient quantities of landfill. Far more sufficient quantities of landfill, filling up all of these beautiful provider chests and starting to fill this wonderful warehouse here. Lacks Nexalit tile. I mean, I've never really done the Nexalit tile all that much. I generally do the aluminium tile because it's far lower consumption overall of aluminium plates than of Nexalit plates. It's like, do I really want to spend Nexalit on making the Nexalit tile, even though it is faster movement speed? Not particularly. I would prefer the aluminium tile, although I do need to compare the walking sound. I do need to compare the walking sound. Yes, it can be considered super cheap, uh, considering the ease at which you can get tailings. Considering the ease of tailings, yes, Nextlit is essentially completely free, but that's still infrastructure that you need to build. That's still an infrastructure that you need to build. Like, I could take the tailings off of all of this and make some Nextlit out of it, and make it into Nextlit tiles. But regardless, a little bit of expansion of stuff, more rails, more concrete and stone bricks along with the rails. And over here you see all these bots in a train going out here. They're going into buffer chests, where I now have basically a way station, a little spot full of the materials that I use when expanding the rail network, so that the construction bots don't have to fly as far when placing new rails. And I'll have these every so often, and it basically puts a lot of the burden onto the Logibots rather than the construction bots, and it basically they can do this once as Logibots, and then the construction bots can go out and just obtain their supplies from here rather than having to go all the way back here for every single thing that they're trying to place all the way out here. So that's that for the expansion. Now, of course, last time I didn't really review yet what we did last time. Last time, I got niobium. That was the whole idea of last time. Last time was setting up this thing right here. Yes, we spent 3 hours setting this up, essentially, because of all the outside inputs that are also associated with this to get the niobium plates. Yes, niobium. Niobium, that's what we did. We needed to set up the ammonia for it, as well as the hydrogen chloride, as well as the organic solvent. Yes, this whole thing is organic solvent right here. Just one organic solvent from acetone and syngas. Like all this is just the acetone, basically, for the dedicated acetone build. It's a little annoying, to say the least, but it does save me from having to do phosphate processing first to get into uh, cumene for the phenol acetone recipe. This is more convenient than going into that, and it allows me to blitz my way into niobium very, very quickly without having to devote a whole bunch of time to making a ton of bone meal and or uh, olefins and or activated carbon, which needs zinc, which, that's a whole can of worms in and of itself, just trying to get zinc ore in the first place. I also built this off screen. This was built off screen. Yeah, phosphate rocks will also be a pain to get. So this is my standard 250 tar per second blueprint right here. This is 250 tar. A little bit is going into the coke production recipe to supply a set of burners. Now, that tar is being converted into a bit of biomass. A bit of biomass. And that biomass is going into this beautiful thing. So what is this? This is syngas-based power that is also using hydrogen to make additional power. This is actually at ratio right here. It is 5 combustion turbines, which is 300 combustion mixture from syngas, into 4 hydrogen powerhouses and 3 hydrogen combustion mixture turbines. Pretty sure this is precisely a 1-to-1 ratio here. I looked at it in Hellmod. It is making exactly 180 combustion mixture from that 240 hydrogen produced, and the other 120 oxygen goes into making exactly 300 combustion mixture. So between these two things, and then 180 is 60 each on the combustion turbines. It's also useful because this is a multiple of 90 as well, which means I could keep this all the way up to Mark III combustion turbines and have 2 Mark III combustion turbines to consume all of that, and then the however many to do the 300 there. So interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. It's convenient stuff. I will need to, however, move the line of towers when I upgrade to Mark IIs, because I did not leave myself enough space for the Mark II combustion turbines. I did not leave enough space for my Mark II combustion. Hello? What? How much power does it make? Yes, that is the question of the day. About 100 megawatts each. So this is about 100 megawatts. It's a little under if you consider the power that this stuff uses, right? It's like if you subtract the power to make the power, it's a little under 100 megawatts, but if you don't, it's like 105-ish megawatts per. I have 2 of these, so over 200 megawatts added. Ideally. I did not realize this was not actually attached right now. So yeah, that helps. That helps a bit. So I have like over 600 megawatts available of power, and I'm using about 400 So we have a little headroom. We've got a little bit of extra space. Yes, you think the oil burners are objectively better, quote unquote. They do use a lot of space, though. That's the generalized trade-off, is that the oil burners going into steam engines are better, but also it's a lot of space too. It's a lot more space, I think, overall, to get a whole bunch of power. It is very simple, though, which I mean, you can't discount the fact that it is a simpler build either. That is a uh, benefit in and of itself. Now, the last thing to discuss that I did off screen, well, not quite the last thing, but the last major thing that I did off screen was I set up this beautiful thing right here. This beautiful thing. What is this beautiful thing? This beautiful thing is 120 copper ore per second and 90 iron ore per second from 60 quenching towers. And at the moment, literally everything is being voided just to keep it moving so I know how much power it's using when everything is moving. So this initially, when I built this initially, I sort of broke the base. I sort of used too much power and death spiraled my base into 0 power. That was fun. That was fun when I set this up. It used a bit more power than I was anticipating, but hey, I have enough now after adding this down here. Gee, I wonder why I made this. It's because I did this first, and I ran out of power. Fortunately, up here, that's why this exists on every other thing for power, right? That's why I have these tanks. I was able to restart the base just by allowing the fluid to flow back into the combustion turbines out of my tanks, where in the various locations I have the tanks all the way around the base. So that helped. My little failsafe method there for restarting after an oopsies moment. So yeah, how does all this work? Well, as it turns out, each one of these, each pair, shall we say, I have 3 pairs. Is how we can assign this. Is 500 tar per second. So each pair is 500 tar per second, and I have 3 pairs. I have 3 lines of 20 of these combustion or quenching towers, excuse me. That each line of 20 is 500 tar per second that it consumes. It's also consuming an absolute ton of water. Every 4 gets water, 20 being multiple of 4. And yeah, it's also a lot of tailings and a lot of beautiful saline water and a lot of flue gas too, but I'm just directly voiding the flue gas currently, and I have not set this up in such a way that I can actually access any of these fluids and gases easily. Mind you, I could, on the end ones, access it, though. It's like 1,000 tailings each set of 4 is 1,000 tailings, as well as like 500 on the saline water. That's why I have 3 that are voiding the saline water, because each one is 200, and I need a little over 2, so it's 3. I need 2.5. Oh boy, and then I need the 5 to void the thousand tailings. Note that this is voiding significantly faster than base Pyanodon's mods because, yeah, King was somewhat kind and made the sinkholes and the gas vents void 200 units per second each rather than 80, which is the default. So that makes this actually usable as a setup, and it fits inside of a single square rail block. Now, I did somewhat measure the rail block. It's a little over 6 by 6 grid size on the whatever chunks. It's a little bit bigger than a 6 by 6 chunk size square on each of these squares. So if you want to get an idea of scale, little over 6 chunks each square, which is huge, which is rather huge. Rather huge. However, the last thing to discuss is that I am now automating the production of Mark II Factorissimo buildings. And I have every green science tech at this point, which means I also have Recursion 1, which allows me to place factory buildings inside factory buildings. And I can fit, like, at least 9. The logistics is the biggest issue, is just getting stuff into those 9, but yeah, I can have at least, like, 9 of these Mark IIs. I have to do some math to compare how many Mark 1s, how much space in Mark 1s I can get, because you can fit many more Mark 1s in here than Mark 2s. So I have to, like, do area math to figure out, it's like, do I want Mark 1s or do I want Mark 2s? Because Mark 2s offer a lot of space. I can't actually enter this because it's inactive. That's why, most likely. If I place that down again, can I go in? How does one activate? I don't like this fact that I can't actually enter this building. Why am I not able to enter this building? How does one activate? Is there a interface? No, controls, mods. Factorissimo2, decrease connection setting, increase connection setting, change connection direction. That's all we get control over on this. Uh-oh. Against the principles of Factorio. Yeah, sort of. Sort of. Anyway, I don't know why these particular buildings aren't letting me inside of them. There's an inside. That should have a ID now. That's the one. Factory 2 S10. So if I go inside, if I place that down, will it let me in? It won't let me in! It won't let me in! The Mark 1s let me in. So I guess it forces you to use the previous level. Don't know why, but it does let me actually store a few Mark II buildings. So basically with Factorissimo recursion, like what you can do, like even with normal Factorissimo, because it saves the items that are inside of each individual factory, you can build a factory inside of a Factorissimo building, and if you need to move it, you can just pick it up, move it, and place it down, and it'll still have all the stuff in it. Have I researched the stacking of the... What do you mean, research stacking of same-size building? I have gotten every green science tech, and apparently blue science gives you a factory requester chest as well as circuit connectors at blue science. Let's do a search for factory. So I have interior lighting, fluid connections, architecture 1, external overlay display, chest connections, preview, and architecture 2. There is architecture 3 that'll unlock the even bigger buildings that require substations, which won't happen until Super Steel. So that'll take a while. Where you can, you're referring to the so recursion 1 allows you to nest factory buildings inside other larger factory buildings. So it's very specific. This does say other larger factory buildings, whereas recursion 2 allows you to nest factory buildings inside other factory buildings of the same size. So there we go. Recursion 2 needs to be a thing in order to actually put Mark 2s in Mark 2s. There we go. Did I screw my stuff up? I just want a box. A box! For those, I guess. As well as this one. So, you need the Mark 1s. I have automated in my mall the Mark 1s, so I'm not too awfully annoyed by that. Because I do have Mark 1s. So that means, with Recursion 1, you can have a level 3 factory building filled with as many level 2 buildings as it can fit in it. And then you can put inside the level 2s, level 1s? I'm unsure how deep it goes, that it allows you to go. So yes, answer is yes. And then how many levels can one go at Recursion 2? Because it allows you to do same in same. If it lets you do infinite, that's a lot of stuff you can do in a small amount of real world space. You can do, oh god, you can do as many as you want. Oh boy, at Recursion 2. Oh boy. There's probably mod settings that influence this, right? Under here. That's just the power transfer rate. Oh, you can make recursion free. Hey. You can make it free. You can get rid of it, or allows nesting larger factories in smaller ones. Really? Why? No. Okay, here's a surface limit. Maximum number of surfaces it should create for factory interiors. If you have more factory buildings than this number, it will start reusing previous surfaces. And then immune to damage. That would be useful if you're using space exploration. Maybe. I don't know. Would it just die? Would the game just die if you set the thing to be immune and it tried to throw a meteor at the building itself, try to spawn them a meteor on the exact location as the building? Or is it just going to be deleted by script? Because that might happen too. For reference, I really hate space exploration. Like, I hate its very existence. Primarily because of the stupidity of not being able to turn off the meteors, as well as being forced to use robot attrition. Like, I'd rather just not have the things that you are trying to use robot attrition for. Can I just turn that stuff off? I'd rather not. I'd rather not have forcible destruction of my stuff, right? That's one of the main things I hate about fighters in the first place, is its forcible destruction of your stuff. That's not what I want. I don't find that fun in the slightest. I find it annoying and tedious. Not, like, the complete opposite of my reasoning for even trying to play this game. So, yeah. Anyway, side tangent there. The goal for the day today is to get into the unslimed iron processing. That is the idea. How far we're going to get on that is another question entirely. So the unslimed iron processing. Yeah, so this is what I set up. This is what I set up over there. It's making 15,000 tailings that I'm voiding currently. Yeah, yeah. I'm voiding all of this beautiful stuff here right now. I'll have separate setups where I'll actually be voiding all of this stuff specifically and not using any of it, but we'll be using the other stuff and like the individual products for it. I really don't like having stuff tied together all that much. So this is what we will be building overall. This is the infrastructure as needed to process the full 90 ore per second, which is actually a smaller build. It's actually a smaller build than the PyDo series, because in the PyDo series, I set up off-screen processing of 150 iron ore, not 90. But I think my intent here is that I will go into high-grade processing. That's going to be, I think, one of the intended things that I'm going to do. Now, because I now have the level 2 factory buildings with recursion 1, what I wanted to try to do was make this in Factorissimo buildings in one of my big squares, because this infrastructure, all of this infrastructure, there is no chance in hell that this entire infrastructure is going to fit even in a 6.5 by 6.5 sized rail block. There's no chance in hell this is going to fit inside of just one of my rail blocks. I am fairly certain of that. So I want to see how much of this I can do in factory buildings and see what sort of space reduction we can get out of using the Factorissimo buildings, and it will also be a chance to like be able to show the Factorissimo buildings in action, see what they can do for us. Now I have to think about how I want to do this. I mean, it's going to be step by step, right? Just individual step by step. Oh, I went all the way up to stainless on this. Oh, let's maybe not think about all that as well. We also have to think about how we're going to end this processing. I did float the idea of doing molten iron, but it really does depend like how much space I actually use, as well as how big of a train station I ultimately need. So I'm going to need a few buildings. Also, I have added a mod. I have added the mod that lets you do importing and exporting of your personal logistics. It adds in your menu, the three little button menu, three little dot menu, which you can't see because I'm in front of, the ability to import and export personal logistics. It's little buttons let you import and export the personal logistics. This setup, which is very handy considering the current state of the game, where the tech effects reset is completely eliminating the personal logistics and auto trash settings anytime anything is updated and you restart the game. It's rather annoying. Rather annoying that is a thing that happens, but hey, as long as we've got that string, which I have in a notepad document next to me, I am okay. I am okay. I can get rid of all those. That's like just for power related stuff. I do need a bunch of electrolyzers. That's not represented here for the oxygen. the oxygen. I think I need more than 10, actually. It's 13 for 288. 12. 12 for 288, I think. 25 oxygen each. So 10 is 250, and then it's another 38 on top of that. So, yeah, that's 2 more. So 12! 12. And it produces extra. And it produces extra. So, let's see. I need 36. 36 of the jaw crushers. I do have a few already, so let's just be like, hey, give me 40 of those. Also, get rid of some of the stuff I'm not actually requesting right now, just to free up some inventory space. I do need an extra... I need an extra secondary crusher. What is this nonsense? Give me the extra stack, I guess. Sure. Also, my Logibots are all really busy with filling this up right now, so expect this to take a little bit of time to get through all of these requests. Get rid of that powerhouse. Get rid of that solid sep when I actually have trash slots available. Shift C to get rid of things. Shift C. Shift C. Shift C. Get rid of thingies. Get rid of thingies. Get rid of that next lit plate. Hurry it up. Go. Die. Get rid of the glassworks. Don't need it. I need... If I go into summary view, how many automated screeners? A lot. Allet. I need allet of screeners, so let's go with U30. I need impact crushers, which are here. Few of those. I need 60 hydro classifiers. That's fun. A few hydro cyclones. 1 stack of those. I'm going to ignore all of the buffs. Right now it's going to be 40 for the iron processing, which is what I'm immediately concerned about. Getting all of the iron molten processed. I need to think about how I'm going to get that coke. I know exactly how I'm going to get that coke. I have to think about how I'm going to bring in the borax for this, slash also, you know, make the borax. I have to make the borax for this. I need a few casting units. I can bring a stack of those. It won't process everything, of course, because I've set this to 50%. It would need twice as many. But yeah, I think more ball mills. More ball mills. 30 ball mills, if you would be so kind. And that should be it. That should be it. Pretty sure. Now, we will have to deal with stone and gravel and tailings in this process. We have to deal with these things, as well as have a source of coke, solid fuel. Just a solid fuel. I've set it to coke in here because, you know, you need coke for the molten steel set processing. So you may as well have the coke be your fuel of choice for the basic oxygen furnaces in here. But you can use any solid fuel for this initial iron line. especially if you're not going into the steel line. I might go all the way into the steel line and have stuff for the stainless and super steel later on, but for now, we are going to ignore those, because that's going to be rather annoying to set up. It's always rather annoying to set up. And then we have to decide where we're going to build this. Hello! Welcome! I am alive. I have survived the hurricane. What did you miss? Just what I've done off screen, and now I'm just going through my planning of what we are building today, which will be the unslimed iron processing, which will process the 90 iron per second that is going through here, this iron. I will then also build out the processing of the 120 copper that is also being produced here. 90 iron, 120 copper, that's from 60 quenching towers. So you missed me discussing my build here, my like 6.5-ish chunk by 6.5-ish chunk rail block of stuff. You also missed me discussing how I'm now making power from tar, couple hundred megawatts of power directly from the tar that I can produce on demand anywhere. And yeah, I've expanded more of the rail system out. I'm using grass landfill now, and I've set up a little supply station here for my construction bots so I can more easily expand outward as I fill in the landfill over here. So as that happens, ever so slowly, as I manually place the landfill, because that would just take way too long for the regular robots to place that landfill, and it would require a hell of a lot more roboports overall to get the construction bots to do it for me. I mean, I've only got 3,237 construction bots at the moment. I've only got that many. I have this here set to only add more construction bots when I've set an order that uses all of my construction bots. So it will flood in additional construction bots anytime I expand the base and add all of the pathing, which I think is more ideal than just constantly adding in to any arbitrary value of things. It just adds it as you need more. And ideally, at some point, theoretically, I'll have enough to supply a full expansion set very quickly. Like, it'll make it faster and faster and faster until there's actually free robots, and then it won't add anymore once there's free robots available, more than 50, or equal to 50. So Z is the available construction bots that is set to. Now, I haven't done anything yet with the Logi bots, so I do have to occasionally come in to just let them be free. Yes, the factory is expanding to meet the needs of the expanding factory. That is absolutely true. In fact, one of the best tips that I can ever give is to prioritize the production of stuff at scale for expanding the base, for making the base bigger faster. Because the faster you can make the base bigger, the bigger you can be, and the more stuff you can make, and the more space that you have, and the more things that you can make, and the more space that you have for the more things that you can make, and the more space that you have for the things that you can make, etc., etc. Going on down the line. Now, I have also started producing the Mark II factory buildings, and that is going to be the theme of how I will attempt to build this, because I have Factorissimo, along with the Recursion 1 tech currently, which allows me to put in the level 1 Factorissimo buildings in the level 2 buildings, which is very, very convenient. Very, very convenient. I can fit a few of these inside of a Mark II building. Now, with Recursion 1, I cannot, like, infinitely place things inside and do, like, the entire thing inside of one Factorissimo building, which I would find absolutely hilarious. But that's a lot of surfaces, and as the mod setting tells me in the mod settings, we have a limit currently of 100 surfaces. I don't know what the max is. Where if I really go hard and deep into using the Factorissimo 2 buildings, may need more than 100. May need more than 100 surfaces. And note that anytime you place and enter a factory building, yeah, it's sort of saved that surface for you and assigned it to that particular building, and that is persistent. So I need to make sure that I am not losing my surfaces, that I don't have empty surfaces, and I do know that I currently have several Mark 1s that have their own surfaces assigned, and I'm assuming that this will also apply to any recursion stuff as well. Each individual building has its own surface, so if you have more than 100 total Factorissimo buildings placed, it's going to start reusing surfaces. So you may enter a building and be entering a completely different building's internal factory. Just so's we're clear, or it might delete it entirely, in which case that is not ideal in the slightest. Now I have to actually find where I placed these buildings into a chest somewhere. I have to hunt a chest. Hunt a chest, because, like, ideally, actually what I would do is use the ones that I have and just put back these. Are there any in here, actually, that have it? Doesn't look like it. So, I can tell the difference between a factory that has a surface versus one that does not have a surface, because it has a name. So if I hover over this, the entity name, this just says factory-1. It'll have some extra stuff after that factory-1 if it has been assigned a surface to make it a unique entity. Now this is why the Factorissimo buildings have a stack size of 1 as well. Because, yeah, they need to be available. So they need to tie themselves to what their surface entity is. Now, I was thinking about this as well, but Factorissimo totally allows you to completely cheat the character inventory system by having a factory with a whole bunch of chests in it that you then pick up and take with you, and anytime you need something from in those chests, you just place the factory, walk inside, grab what you need, and walk right on back out and just grab the factory and take it with you. Because it saves that space. And that you basically have infinite inventory at that point. So all of these are assigned surfaces. So we can see that I actually have all of these surfaces already defined. Now, I don't think it starts at a value of 1. This S, so you've got S28 and such. I think it starts at a value of 10? Oops. Pretty sure it starts at a value of 10, and then iterates up. Or it starts at a value of 1, 0, and then goes up from there. What else has been put into my inventory? This stuff that I don't need. That's it. Any others with surfaces in this chest? Doesn't look like it. Does not look like it. So I'm pretty sure there's no S01 line. It starts with 10, 11, 12, 13, etc. So we have a few of these buildings that will go into Mark IIs, and we'll see what the logistics looks like there, and I will have to decide like exactly how we're going to do this. Now, the problem with using the buildings that have the surface already assigned is that you have to place them one at a time, and each time you have to grab it from your inventory. You can't just click drag these buildings, because each one is a completely unique entity, which is a little bit of a shame that that is the case. What is my spacing? I did 4. That means I can't even do one more here. Oops. And then that's 3. So okay, now we get into the issue of having to relocate these things. And then it doesn't even let you cut and paste either. Like what? Like what? I can at least put ghosts down for these. Again, I don't really know exactly the like logistics stuff I want to do in here yet, but I mean, I could put them like right next to each other and be fine. It's like, do I want this particular Mark II factory to be just the first step? Like, do I want this to be just the like have individual factories for each step in this line, or each singular product in this line? I think that might be what my plan is. And then I would only use the recursion if I need the space. I think that might be the least of the cheaty ways. The least of the cheaty ways, because there's no way this is going to fit 30. Like, this internal space of a O2 is going to fit 36 jaw crushers. Like, it can fit 6 by... Oh. It might be able to fit it, but it can't fit it with all of the logistics involved. So even though there seems to be enough space to fit 36 in here as placed, like the actual footprint size of 36, sure, but there's not enough space for the logistics, it seems. Not quite enough to do all of the logistics in here. So what I'm going to try to do is, let's see, if I can fit 6 inside of these level 1s. Alright, that's decent. Use bots to make the logistics smaller. I could, but I don't know. I could, but I don't have enough bots right now to do that, and I would very much prefer not. I would very much prefer not. I'm just seeing if I can actually fit this twice. I can't. So this is the spacing. By the way, I could make it. Let's see. What are the divisible numbers of 36? Can I? Because 36 is 6 by 6, but it can also be divided by other numbers. By 9. by 9. So if I have 9 in here, that works. I can have 4 of these. I could have 4 of these, and it would work just fine. That's actually a tile off. There you go. There you go. That's functional. That's very functional. Now, let's not forget that this whole thing does need an input as well, so let's move it there. And then... dang it, I did not move it down enough. Let's see if I can get this to work for me. If I can get this to work for me. So that will have to be up there. That's an input. That's an output. Yeah, I can make this work for me using belts. Huzzah! The unfortunate part, though, is I probably will have multiple sources of the iron in. Or I can just split it this way. And, I will shove the stuff out that way. Ta-da! There's the thing. I now need to do the actual logistics work. This is input, input, input. Now the other great thing about this... Oops, I hit the wrong button. I hit the wrong button. I needed Shift L. Shift L. That's the button. Great thing about this is that I don't have to worry about power poles. That's the thing I do not in the slightest need to worry about. That actually needs to be reversed. There we go. Yeah, and then this is just the same, but ever so slightly different. Yeah, no need for power poles if you use Factorissimo. And then what I can do is I can just copy this whole thing, like so, as a blueprint.
Sorry, I don't know that.
I did not say its name. I did not say your name. Then I only need 4 of these for this step. Now, the question. The question, of course. Always the wonderful question. This, I'm going to rotate and place there. Why? Why rotate and place there? Well, because it allows me to have output input. If I do Shift R, Control R, Shift, wait, what? I have alt mode on. Show me your input ports. Oh, it's just R. I see. Facing what direction now? Facing west, 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 west. Okay. We are good. In, out, in, out, in, out. I might want to actually change it to be something over here. But, whatevs. Whatevs! In which case, actually, I want these buildings to be abutting. There we go. Put that there. There. And there. R, R, R. In, out, in, out, in, out. Now, this is something I don't know, actually. Can I Is it smart enough? The answer, I think, is no. Yeah, the answer is no. It's not smart enough with 0 spacing. You need a space. You need a space with a unit of belt between. That is a shame. That is really a shame. I would really imagine that if you have them next to each other, they should be able to just shove things between each other. But looks like that's just not going to happen. So, make sure we rotate, place the doohickey, place the doohickey. Now, I didn't actually assign the recipe, now did I? That's the recipe. Let's make sure I assign the recipe to all this. I guess I have just a generic 9 unit cell of the stuffs. I can actually get rid of the Jaw Crusher request now. And I can use this for whatever Jaw Crusher stuff I need in the future. However, this does produce stone. In fact, actually, having 9 is not quite ideal. It's using 22.5, and it's making more than 15 per second of stuff in the end. So actually this logistics needs to be modified a little bit. Just a little bit. Now, 6 is 15, and it's 12. So, therein lies the solution. Yep, therein lies the solution. So I will actually go and just delete this, because it's not the thing to do. This is the thing to do. That did get all the recipes, though, unfortunately. Delete that, paste that. Delete that, paste that, and delete that. I said delete that, and paste, delete that. There we go. That should be that. So that's 36. Done and dusted. Now, the logistics for here, I have 90 iron ore. I'm going to have 2 lines of compressed iron in. I need to uncompress them, ideally, before they go in. So this is going to use a lot of belt, and I do need to make sure that I have enough space. I absolutely need to make sure that I have enough space. Whoops, that was like a what moment? What? What? Oh, I need to not build like that, actually. I need to build like that. Like, why would I not build better? Let's build better. That sounds like an idea. Ooh, and it absolutely would... See, that's unfortunate. I don't want it to snap that way. I want it to... Ah, stupid thing! There. Now, the question is, does that actually work? No, it does not. It does not. Why you do this? Why you do this to me? Why you do this to me? Why... So then the question is, if it snaps that way, it's still... Yeah, no. Nope. I have to keep it the other way. So very sad. That is sad. Very, very sad. I don't like that very much because... Yeah. Spacing is everything, right? Spacing, it is everything. Earthing. The fun of mods, yes, the fun of mods. So yeah, let's just be supremely idiotic and just do it this way. Let's see. That should work. That should work. You're staring at green science and only managing to get a little bit scared. Yeah, it's fine. Don't look at don't look at red circuits. Don't look at red circuits. The circuit twos, the complex circuit boards. Don't look at that. If green science makes you scared, do not look at circuit twos. Like, actually break it down in Hellmod. By the way, there's going to be a tutorial that I make at some point in Hellmod that's going to break down the entirety of the Circuit 2 chain down to, like, Circuit 1 stuff. Yeah. That's going to be a thing that I will do. Okay, that's those. I'm also going to, at this point, you know, make a video on Hellmod, I guess, because that's totally a thing people want to see, I think. I don't know, someone suggested making a Hellmod thing. Video on how to use Hellmod. Like, okay. Alright. Now that video is probably 2 hours long. Yeah, most likely. Most likely. We shall see. I have recorded my hot air video, by the way. Recorded that yesterday. The quartz processing video is also live right now, so you can have a look at that updated video. I spent 50-something minutes talking about hot air. Just so's you know, I spent like 50-some-odd minutes going over hot air and my thoughts on hot air, and yeah. Suffice it to say that my current thoughts are that if you are voiding literally all of the byproducts of making outlet gas 4, only in that circumstance is it more useful to you to use the reheating method. Only only if you are voiding all of the byproducts. If you are not voiding all of the byproducts, it is pretty significant, the difference in power by not using the reheating versus using the reheating. Yeah, the outlet gas stuff at Red Hot Coke, it's somewhere along the lines of, if you void all of the Red Hot Coke, you're losing 40 coal per second to make 500 hot air. So if you're making 500 hot air, it's like 160 some odd megawatts that you would lose if you void everything. If you void everything. In which case, sure, the fuel value that you would lose by spending the 100 combustion mixture to do the reheating instead, and only have to make the 5 units of outlet gas 4 as opposed to the 100 units to make the 500 hot air. Sure, that combustion mixture, that 100 units of 1000C combustion mixture would make, at the level 3 combustion turbines, 144 megawatts of power if you had used it to make power instead of using it to do the reheating. So, in that particular case, if you're voiding the Red Hot Coke in particular, but also the, like, 30 sulfur per second that you end up with, and the 300 aromatics that you end up with if you were to make the 100 outlet gas 4, if you were to void all of that with all of the Red Hot Coke, the, like, 10 per second Red Hot Coke that you get, that circumstance, yes, it is better to do the reheating. But if you are not voiding these things, if you actually want to convert your Red Hot Coke into Coke to use for other things, if you want to use the aromatics and have a consistent supply of aromatics, if you want to use the sulfur and have a consistent supply of sulfur, don't even remotely consider doing reheating. Like, it is going to be far better to not do the reheating. Alright, so I need to now deal with the stone out of this. Get rid of stone. Because you have to think about the opportunity costs as well. What would your setup look like if you were attempting to do aromatics, 300 aromatics, in a separate setup? What would the power draw be of doing the 30 sulfur in a different setup? What would the power draw be of doing the 10 Red Hot Coke in a different setup to get Coke dedicated? Like, there's opportunity cost analysis that needs to be made as well on top of this, so yeah. Or just stay on the step that consumes stone brick for the entire game. Yes, I agree. I actually agree. So, each one of these is going to be a separate amount of stuff. Because the line on the left is just going to be output of 3. The line on the right is going to be the output of 6. So this one's 3, this one's 6, 3, 6, etc. And I did grab this, and it tells me that the line of 6 is going to have 3 and 9, which means it's going to be 1.5 and 4.5. 1.5 and 4.5. 4.5 and 9, that's a value pretty close to 15. Close enough. I will combine the processed iron ore and stack it, because we're going to end up with 54 processed iron ore. That is plenty for a stack of it. So, yeah. That's a thing. So all that stuff, by the way, with the hot air, it just adds up over time, and you have to really consider what the alternative power costs are, uh, and whether or not you want to void everything. So in the very specific circumstance where you void everything, yes, reheating is technically better, but also you also have to set up again. You also have to take into account the increased complexity of doing the 1000 degree C combustion mixture and all of the logistics involved with doing the 1000 degree C combustion mixture, while also maintaining the infrastructure to do the lower amounts of outlet gas 4 that you need to make. Because no matter what, you're going to have to build that infrastructure to make the outlet gas 4. The difference is scale. And then you still have to do the additional complex part of making the 1000C combustion mixture and doing the reheating on top of that. And having your setup set in a way that does the reheating, that has enough fluid in the entire system so that the fluid keeps moving, that you have an underflow valve as well to keep adding the new stuff each time you get 95 back when you reheat rather than the full 100. It's just, yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. In the slightest. The stone. I have a solution for the stone, involving washers. Do I have washers on me? I do. How much stone is that 36? I did not actually keep my pin up. How much total stone is it? 18. So, yeah, about saline water. If I have 6 washers, guess I'm doing just the one step in this building, huh? I guess I'm doing just the one step, the first step in this building. And that's how much water as well. A bit. Some water. Very happy I have my niobium pipes, by the way. I have my beautiful pipes. The beautifulest of beautiful pipes. And of course, that would make 100 saline. So that's a single doohickey. Singular doohickey. Do I need to do this, like, in the middle here? Probably not. If I need to move it, I will move it. But yeah, that's 5 from 8. Beautiful. Five from 8. How am I going to do this? Isn't this 15? Yeah, this is 15, and then this is 3. So, how much? 1 is 3.3, so, hey. No. How about you face the correct direction? Thanks. That would be ideal. There you go. That'll be that for that one. And then these other 4. I needed 6. I built 5, I needed 6. There we go. I needed 6. So these 4 into 5 is fine. Yes. Good. Good. Yeah, I think that's about what I'll have to do here. I mean, I could do the thing there. Yeah. Aesthetics! Aesthetics! So, all of, this shenaniganry, except this last one, I have made a very big mistake. In that goes down from there. That is the mistake that I have made. And... well, I guess it can go... splitting off like so. Yeah, it looks like I need to shift down a little bit. Looking like a shift down is necessary. That... is that? Yes, that is that. Now, as I had said previously, I will stack... oof, that spacing. Dat spacing dough. That works. It's working! Oh. Yeah, you're gonna have to go to the side that way. Yep, that works. Skip over. Ta-da! Oops. Stacked processed iron! Of course, this whole thing could be one tile up here. And I could make much better use of this space, but hey, we just did a build that would have been so much huger from elsewhere. Now, the other question is, how am I going to actually bring in this ore? Currently, I have it set to be from the side here. It's like, do I really want it to be from that side? And then, do I actually want this processed iron to go in the opposite direction? I'm okay just having a line out this way. It's like, but yeah, how about instead, do I have it in here and out here? Or, for example, well, as I can see, that would mean I have to move that a little bit in the process. I would need to move this to the other side, or not. Like, okay, either way I'm sort of a little bit stuck. I would need to bring the processed iron all the way there. left side out and into the next building, right next to it. Yeah, I guess I could. If I have another building there, rather than be there, it could be out, say, here. Third item. Like that. There you go. Yeah, and I guess it could just be internal here. Oops, I did the wrong two. Yeah, those two. Ta-da! And that's a Factorissimo building, warehouse thingy. Thingy-madoodad. The thingy-madoohickey. Now, where am I going to get these brought down? Likely from here. Going up. My bots should be on their way, by the way. Bringing me beautiful belt. Because I need a little bit of belt. Just, a little bit of belt. Now, here's the other tricky part, is that I need to have 2 splits with a priority right there and right and left there, so that I actually prioritize the not voiding. And there we go. But then I have to get the same thing done with the copper, which, yeah, that's going to be a little more difficult when doing the same thing with the copper. I guess I do technically have those 2 lines there, and I can escape this way with the copper. I'll have 1 line. Oops. Is... Oh, here's my stuffs. Here's my stuffs. My stuffs has arrived. My beautiful stuffs has arrived. Yeah, this will be like that. Or, no, like so. You don't need to exist. Whoops. And my alarm! Oh no, we're halfway through the stream and I've done 1 step of the unslimed iron processing. We are halfway and I have done 1 whole step of this thing. I guess I should also give power, right? Gib power and connect the iron. Connect the iron! We can watch as the iron gets shoved into these things. Yes, yes! Flow, my lovelies, flow! Be free-ish. Mm-hmm. How did you get a... Wait, what? How do you have stone? Oh. Right. Oops. Let's try to fix that real quick, cause that's ever so slight problem. That's a ever so slight problem. I have to watch and clean. There we go. Now it's flowing. Until it backs up. Wow, that was a thing. That was a thing, and then it's that? Yes, that line. Processed iron. So with that, if you're watching the VODs on YouTube, that'll be the end of our VOD video for the day today. I would like to thank you all for watching. This has been Otaku Showboat, do all the social stuff, etc., etc., etc. If you're watching live on YouTube, I will be back in a few minutes from my break, where we will continue to attempt to do the screening of the processed iron into grade 1. This will be the first quote-unquote new process here, and yeah, it'll be great. Yes, my Logibots did come and actually place this building for me, which was, or my construction bots came and placed this building for me, which is fantastic. And I guess I have decided that each one of these steps is going to be its own Factorissimo building, so I guess maybe not that spacing though, because I have multiple thingies coming out in this next step, 3 pieces coming out in this next step, and I may do multiple steps in this building. I don't know. We shall see. Anything that requires a ton of buildings is definitely going to get its own factory. But I will be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.